Welcome everybody to UNHD. I'm so excited. I've just had the most wonderful conversation with two of the ladies who've joined us, and we've just been riffing. And in some ways, I wish that we'd recorded it because so many gems came out of just our conversation. So I know that this whole 9 weeks is going to be full of incredible conversations that are going to guide us, to lead us, to teach us, to help us learn so much more about ourselves so that we can see ourselves in high definition, so that we can see others in that high definition through our human design. Now, this evening's call was a little bit of a meet and greet, but also to give you a little bit of housekeeping and help you really understand about what's coming up. I know that you've had sales pages and emails and all of these things, but sometimes it's just really worthwhile taking a moment to go through a little bit and just take a pause so that you know exactly what is going to be going on. I do have some notes and I'll probably go wildly off track. I thought I ought to be really official tonight, but I'm here in my pajamas and my diamonds and just thought I'm just going to be me tonight. And I think that I really wanted to set the tone for the whole of this program. Feel free to show up when you can. Feel free to show up in your pajamas. Feel free to show up in your black tie if that's really what you want to do. You know, it's absolutely fine. Bring your notebooks. You can have your cameras on, you can have your cameras off. Just know that everything is going to be fully recorded. You're going to have lifetime access to all of the information, so there's no need to panic if you miss anything for whatever reason. I thought I might start with why human design. It's really interesting. I recorded a podcast earlier today and I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about when I started my podcast. And often I just start and I start riffing. But there was a conversation that I had in my mastermind just before I announced UNHD, or really like before everything started to crystallize in terms of how I wanted to run this program. And it was just this sudden awakening. And that's all I can do is describe it. Is that I suddenly woke up one morning and I felt this. Do you know what? I don't even know how I can put the words into describing how I felt. I just suddenly saw, it was actually, maybe that's why I woke up and I saw my life in high definition through somebody else's eyes. And I just thought, wow, I felt like I'd reached another level. We were just talking about line sixes. So many of us in this round are line sixes. And I suddenly felt that I stopped at this next level and I had this amazing viewpoint of everything that I had created and everything that I had been through. And I realized that I had created this life with a whole package. And I'd been having a conversation with a private client, and she was a new private client. And she came to me, she said, Ali, I just want to have this wholeness in my life. I want to bring my whole self into my life. She said, I just feel like all I do is work and I don't look after myself, and I haven't looked after kind of like my life and my relationships. And I don't want to get to the end of my working career and suddenly realize that there's nothing else. And I thought, oh my goodness, I've created that wholeness that she's talking about. And maybe she'd seen it before I'd even seen it. And I thought, how have I done that? And I realized that when I left my big corporate job back in 2013, for many different reasons, I sat down in my garden and I wrote down, what is my definition of success? We were talking about this earlier, Rosina and I, we were, in the earlier calls, it was just saying, what do I want my life to be like? What's my definition? And my definition of success became very much one that was, it just like came out. It was just very, very easily came onto the page was, success to me is loving what I do, loving who I do it with, and loving myself in the process. Because the piece that Rosanna and I were talking about, Rosina, sorry, not Rosanna, Rosina, we were talking about earlier, we were saying how much we've been conditioned. And I'd been conditioned into believing that success was, having it all, the big paychecks, the big house, the kids, everything. That's what it was. My mum's definition of success was for me to be thin. My dad's definition was for me to have it all. Everybody else's definition was to have the big paycheck and the big job and all the big titles. And I'd done all that, but it didn't make me feel fulfilled at all. In fact, I just felt so frustrated that this was it. And interestingly, I look back now and I think frustrated, that's my not self theme as a generator. And just really realizing that all I wanted to do was have more love in my life. And so it became very intentional for me from that moment onwards to just say, making all my decisions with, do I love this? Am I doing something that I love? Do I love this person? Do I like being with this person? And do I actually love myself while I'm doing this and when I'm with this person? It just became this very, very, I conditioned myself to see myself and my life through that, and I made my choices. I didn't know my human design at that time, but I've got a sacral authority and I'm a generator, and that's very, very much in intuitive alignment with how I'm meant to be. And I started to create a much better life or path through me. It ruffled a lot of feathers, don't get me wrong. It ruffled a lot of feathers and I upset a lot of people, but I wanted to stay true to me. I fast forward to 2021, where I was actually given my human design. And I looked at it, I thought, well, that's interesting. And a lot of it made an awful lot of sense. And it was just like, well, yes, I am meant to be too much. And yes, I am meant to make my gut decisions. And that's why I am like I am. And then I saw all my chakras and how I've like got this strong spine. I've got a defined head, mind, I've got a defined throat, I've got a defined G center, and I've got a defined sacral, but everything else is open. So to me, this was like, I didn't realize how much I absorbed from everybody else. I absorbed fears, I absorbed stress, I absorbed emotions, I absorbed all the thoughts and feelings of everybody else coming from up here. And I had to learn to let all of that go and just really focus on my center core. And the more I learned that, and I started to embody that in my life and in my health and in my career, everything started to improve. And interestingly, I carried on working with this trifecta. I call it this trifecta of loving myself, which was really the health of myself. So how could I love on my body and love this physical self, my mind, my body, my soul? How could I love myself more? And that has become so intentional. And then it was, how can I love my life more? How can I love the people more I'm with? And I, did a huge cleanse of the people that I was with gently. I didn't just suddenly like block them out. It's just like, I didn't feel so good when I'm with you. I'm just not going to answer or go out with you or invite you to tea so many times. It just became this very, very gentle cleanse of, actually, I just want to hang out with the people who make me feel good about myself. And that was loving my life and really allowing myself to love my life with other people and going on this adventure. My line 3 was about, how can I love this more? Does this bring me more love? And then I started to bring this into my life. So as I transitioned from a very corporate career into a very entrepreneurial one, I started to bring that into my work as well, and just saying, how do I want to do this? What would bring me joy? Bringing this program, all my questions were, how do I want to do it? How would this bring me joy? How can I help bring others more joy? How can I help them? How do I want to do this? Hence why I'm sat here in my pajamas tonight. It was like, what would bring me joy tonight? It's just like, I'm just going to be in my PJs and I'm going to chill, and I'm not going to have any serious amounts of notes. I'm just going to talk and welcome everybody in. And I just thought, oh, that makes me feel so good. And that feels good to me. So having this trifecta of what I now call my woman of wellness, so the health of self, the woman of wonder, somebody who loves life and loves and romance, and then this final piece is the woman of wealth, with loving my purpose, having this really strong, powerful mission, is really how I've started to create this whole life. And in 2021, when I really started to understand my human design and then bring more of that into every single corner of that trifecta, everything started to speed up. And in the last 12 to 18 months, when I started my joy coaching business, it's just literally rocketed, because I'd got to that point where everything became so embodied and so natural to me. This align with love and you will find a life of joy. See yourself through your human design, live your truth, be your truth. And that's really what I want to bring through here in the UNHD, so that you can bring your human design into that trifecta to create this wholeness and see yourself in that high definition. So that's why we're here. So I hope that gets you very excited to understand what we're actually going to be doing. So how is it all going to work then? Really simply, it's knowledge. I'm going to be sharing knowledge with you every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And we've got them into bite-sized pieces. You'll see in the portal how it's all going to break down. I'm going to teach you, I'm going to educate you everything that I know about human design and how you can apply it to that trifecta. Then we're going to integrate it. So you're going to bring your human designs, you're going to bring the human designs of the people you want to understand more. If you've got friction in your life, if you've got friction in your love life, if you've got friction with colleagues, partners, friends, family, you can bring those in, bring those questions in, and we're going to work through that as well. We're going to bring it all in so you can start integrating it in the moment. And that's where we've got Telegram. So when you've got questions and you're learning, whether you're joining me live or whether you're watching or taking yourself through your own human design and applying it, when you've got a question, please use Telegram. And I mean it when I say there is no daft question. You know, even if it's like, oh my goodness, I can't find the Zoom link, or if it's just something bigger, my husband is the ... and I can't find and I don't understand. This is where you bring it into Telegram, and I will help you as much as I possibly can interpret that, and we'll find the answers to help you integrate it. So this is very much knowledge, and then it's integration, and then at the end of the 9 weeks is a lifetime of embodiment. So there is that knowledge, integration, embodiment, and it's just going to be wonderful. So the when piece, so we've done the why, we've done the how, the when piece. So all you really need to know, keeping it as simple as I possibly can, Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, unless there's some kind of disaster, fingers crossed, no disasters will happen for me over the course of the next 9 weeks. And then every other week, we're going to do a live Q&A session, which really is a deepening session. So what I will be doing is I will be watching the questions in Telegram. And if there's stuff I can't riff on in a short answer, I will bring it into those live Q&As. But also you can come in and join me, and it's an opportunity to, just like we did before I started recording this, it's an opportunity to come in, have a chat, have a conversation, just share what's going on in your life, share what's going on with you, with your human design. So those are going to be Mondays at 2. Every other week. But everything is in your portal, which brings me to the point, everything in that very, very beautiful portal that Upbrand has created for us. You know, I really want it to be a seamless experience. So if there's any problems, please let me know, because I know Victoria and the team will be there to make sure it's beautiful. But you'll find all of the quick links in there. You'll have access to all of the recordings. They're going to be posted up there after 24 hours, or within 24 hours at least. I think Victoria's going to aim to do that for me. So you'll have those. So the live sessions and the trainings, the deepening calls, they're going to be in there. And then also you've got all of the Energy Quest clearings. So if at any point you feel like you need to go and do a clearing, you've got all of those clearings in there as well. And for those of you who have got a free call with me, you'll also find in there that there's a link that you can use to come in and book your calls. If you can't find it, let me know, I'll drop it in. I don't know if she's put that in or not, but I will probably send you all a private link. And for anybody else who wants one but didn't win one, then you can book one to have one with me during the 9 weeks that we're together, because I also know that there are some private conversations or conversations that you may want to have in private with me, and that's what those calls are there for. So, and I suppose talking about the privacy conversation, everything that we share in Telegram, everything we talk about in our live sessions, and everything we talk about in our deepening sessions, it's all confidential. So please keep that really confidential in between us. This is a really, really safe space. I want people to be able to come in and share their truth, speak their truth, so that we can help guide them and help them move forward. So what's next then? For those of you who don't know your human design, and I think pretty much everybody does who's come in at the moment, but for those people who haven't created their human design, my favorite place to go and create them, and there's lots of free charts out there on the internet, but I love mybodygraph.com. That's my favorite one to use. Go on mybodygraph.com, and you're going to need to put in your date of birth, your time of birth, and your location of birth. And it will bring back your chart, and you can share those in the Telegram group so that we can keep referring back to those if you've got any questions. If you don't know your time of birth, please don't panic. Just send me a private message and I will help you work that out. I didn't know my date of birth. I knew my date, sorry. I didn't know my time of birth because my mum had died. And interestingly, my dad just said, well, it was lunchtime, because when my birth was really quite traumatic. Both my mum and I died at birth. So my dad was told to go and off and have some lunch, but that could have been any time between 10 and 2 in the afternoon, I think, in those days. So fortunately, both my mum and I survived. But when I was packing away or unpacking all of the boxes, my mum died 10 years ago. It was only this year that I actually could face it for some reason, to actually open all my boxes. But I actually found my birth book. I'll send you a photograph, but I've got my birth book in it, and all my mum's little handwriting and saying what I did and everything. It's gorgeous. But I found that, so I found my date. So the date that we'd used was actually 43 minutes out. So I always believe that whatever chart you choose to work with, you just have to trust that that was the chart that you're meant to work with to help you through whatever you're going through, even if later on it slightly changes. So that's what we're going to do. You'll see in Telegram, I've put all the guidelines in there. Live sessions Wednesday at 8. I think I've said everything. Have I said anything? Has anybody got any questions? Are we all good to go? I'm so excited. Feel free to join me in your pajamas next week. I can't promise I'll be wearing my full regalia of diamonds though. But it was quite nice to get them out. Right, I will take, you can come all off mute if anybody wants to say anything. If you want to say anything, but otherwise, oh, I can't work out how to do that now. What am I doing? Here we go. Oh my goodness. I'm really sorry. I should get better at Zoom, really should. There we go. There we go. Is everybody ready and excited to go? You're good.
Yes,
can't wait. Me too. I'm so excited. And I'm so excited to welcome all the other ladies in as well. Honestly, I know everybody who's coming in, they're all gorgeous. So we're going to have such a fun time. I can't wait.
No, I mean, I've been following you pretty much. I found you just after I